Good evening, race fans. Welcome to today's main event, the Metro Ford Cup Series, brought to you by the Old Bastards Racing League, always sponsored by eMetroFord.com. Major thanks to those guys, Patrick Milligan, for supporting this series and getting the party started here today. We are currently showing a single car qualifying as we've got the world famous Pete Copico Cocoa Puffs and the number 3 machine out there charging hard, trying to put down a good qualifying time. This is going to be interesting to see here today as Daytona. It's known for the big one. A lot of great racing, 2-3 wide action, and a lot of heartbreak for some drivers that should have top 5 cars that may get involved in some incidents early on tonight. Now, one of the benefits is this is one of the cleaner leagues that we broadcast each and every week. So we're expecting a lot of 2-3 wide action and a lot of clean racing. As always, on behalf of TeamGoonSquad.com, I'm James East from the booth, bringing the action 1080p, 60 frames a second. As we get ready to start this party, we're going to see what Kopko can do on his opening lap and see what time he can put down. A 48.49 is his best so far. And let's see what Kopko is going to be able to do on his opening or his fastest lap. Now, normally you're going to see the guys kind of carry the high line all the way around the racetrack, try and build up as much speed as they possibly can. And then on their second and final timed lap, they'll hug that inside line, trying to make the racetrack as small as physically possible. Just squeeze out just a little bit more time here today. And it's going to be interesting to see what Kopko is able to do on his final flying lap. See if he's going to be able to improve that 48.91. 48.49, excuse me. Let's see what he does. And just like that, Kopko able to do it, a 47.94, edging out Groves and Runyon. So well done to Kopko, one of our favorite drivers to see out there. And we have heard mention of something of a ringer here today. Eric Essery, the Iceman, the number 27 Chevrolet, he's joining us for one of the first times for the Metro Ford Cup Series. He runs several other of the series that these guys are normally a part of and making it out to the Cup Series for, I believe, the first time this season. As we watch number 7 dive down into pit lane, maybe trying to make some adjustments before he goes back out. I'm not quite sure what the move is. Or he may be trying to put a little bit more heat in the tires. Number 27 machine. It's going to be interesting to see how that pans out for him, as he may be trying to dope those tires and squeeze out a little bit more time here. Right now, it's Schrader on top of provisional pole with Travis Rogers in tow. Both drivers getting down to the 47.9s, just barely edging out Kopko by a couple hundredths of a second. It's going to be very interesting to see what exactly Essery's strategy is in here, the number 27 machine. If I was a betting man, I think he's trying to burn off a little bit more fuel, maybe get a little bit more heat in those tires. And he dives it back onto pit lane, so he may be trying to invalidate his own qualifying times. Not quite sure what we're seeing here, as he is going to bring it into pit lane. So that's going to be Essery's qualifying time. We've got Robert Crisco, the number 28 machine, out on track now. Let's see what Crisco is able to do in the number 28 machine. What a beautiful shot here at Daytona. Looking great as always. And these guys, I've got to say, they've got some of the cleanest drivers out on iRacing. They've also got some of the cleanest looking paint schemes as well. So let's see what Crisco can do his opening lap. Brian Lynch, he puts it on top of provisional pole with a 47.91 on his opening lap. He's actually unable to improve on the second lap with a 47.93. So interesting to see some drivers able to click off that fastest lap time as soon as they go out, and other drivers taking the full 2 laps to really get up to speed. But if you look at that live time in the scoring tower on the left side of your screen, that shows just how tight this race can be. Plate racing is always a lot of exciting action. Again, a lot of 2 wide, 3 wide racing and a lot of bump drafting in these tight packs. This is a fixed setup league, so everybody's on the same equipment as far as it goes on track. The only difference is going to be their actual machinery they have at home for their sim rig, as well as the ability of their drivers. Look at that. Schrader makes his way up towards the top as well, a 47.92. McDaniel getting up towards the top 3 with a 47.93. Let's see what Crisco can do here today on his second timed lap. See if he can prove that 48.41 as he gets ready to approach the line. And what's it going to be from Crisco in the Crisco back number 28 Ford Mustang. He's able to improve to a 47.95. That's good enough for a 10th place start here for OBRL. Josh Robinson's out on track, number 23 machine. Now things have been shaken up with the points chase here. This is the final round before we go into the points championship. Right now, Dwayne Macarthur is in the lead, but he only has a 4-point advantage over Josh Robinson, currently on screen, number 23 machine. After last week, they were able to switch it up just a little bit, so a lot of great racing left to go, and this is where it's going to be decided before we go into our chase championships, where 16 drivers will advance. We've got Hank in the chat tonight supporting on his favorite drivers. He'll be back next week, taking the night off, or the day off, I should say. So always great to see Hank in the capacity that he is able to make it out here, even when he's not on track, still supporting all of his knucklehead friends for OBRL. And that's kind of what it's about, a bunch of great, like-minded individuals having a bunch of fun several times a week. They race the Metro Ford Cup Series every Sunday, but throughout the week they've got ARCA, they've got the trucks, they've got the Xfinity cars. And even when they're not racing, they are still out there having practice nights together. Robinson clicks off of 48.46, his first lap. He's got a long way to go to catch up to Brian Lynch with a 47.91. Al Turner propels himself up to the standings as well for a 5th place provisional qualifying with a 47.93. Now, this is going to be interesting here tonight. Again, this is a league that is historically very, very clean, not a lot of incidents. It's a 96-lap race, and it's about a 35-ish lap fuel window. Look at that. Tom Ogle, the Team Miata driver, puts it on top of provisional pole with a 47.91, just barely squeaking by Brian Lynch in the number 15 machine. Brian Glass answers with a 47.90. And then Josh Robinson puts it on top of provisional pole with another 47.90. These guys are really pushing hard out there. We're going to see what Scales is doing, the number 8 Chevrolet, going out for his first lap. "22 drivers have put down qualifying time so far. If you're new here to watching the OBRL Racing Crew, as a reminder, you'll see a few triple-digit numbers out there today. Those are signified as rookies in the series, guys that have to prove they have what it takes to run with the Old Bastards Racing League week in and week out and show that they're good, clean racers. And tonight, that's going to be Dave Mayberry, Jess Vaught, our 2 rookies out on track. Vaught is going to be in the 118 Chevrolet, Mayberry in the 119 Ford Mustang. Now, all of these triple-digit racers are unable to put out qualifying times, having to start from the back, as we are going to wrap up qualifying and get ready to send them out on track. This is going to be quite the race. 96 laps of action. As we're going to get ready to take it to tonight's grid. Starting up front, Josh Robinson, number 23, the Team Miata driver, starting on pole. Brian Glass and the number 87 starting second. You've got the world-famous Tom Ogle in the bright pink White Claw machine. He's starting third. Brian Lynch and the number 15 starting fourth in the number 15. Mike Schrader and the number 4 starting fifth. Greg McDaniel starting sixth tonight. Travis Rogers still searching for his first win in the number 72 machine. He is starting 7th. Al Turner, the number 76, starting 8th. Pete Kopko Cocoa Puffs, number 3, starting 9th tonight. Michael Everhart, Titanium is what his nickname is. He'll be starting up here as well in the 10th place spot. Randy Ott starting 11th. Dwayne Macarthur starting 12th. Our favorite fast Canadian. And we're going to cycle further back in the grid. We got Joe Brown in the number 21 machine starting 13th. Robert Crisco starting 14th. Dode Hoskins in the number 66 machine starting 15th. Groves starting 16th. Dakota Fishke starting 17th. You've got Jonathan Green starting 18th. Roger Runyon Sr. starting 19th. Dean Greer starting 20th. Gary Kipper starting 21st. Eric Essery, the ringer, the Iceman, starting 22nd. Ken Huff starting 23rd. Scales starting 24th. Then you've got Jess Vaught, one of the rookies in the 118 machine, starting 25th. Kelly Cool starting 26th. Brian Lindsay starting 27th. Eric Whiting starting 28th. Todd Bosworth starting 29th. Lewis Albee, number 33, starting 30th. And then finally Dave Mayberry, one of the final rookies. He'll be starting at the very tail end of this pack, as this is going to be a great race. We've got 31 drivers making it out on track for 96 laps of action, as we get ready to get this party started for the Metro Ford Cup Series at the Old Bastards Racing League. It's Brian Glass, Josh Robinson, our front row. Pace car will be in this time, and we're going to get this party started. It's going to be interesting to see who's willing to push hard early and who's going to sit in single file and maybe click off some laps here. Pace car is in. And away we go as the green flag flies here at Daytona. Oh, looks like Josh Robbins still out front. Tom Ogles grabbed a quick early spot ahead of Brian Glass's number 87 machine. Mike Schrader 4th. Travis Rogers up 2 spots so far into 5th. You're on board with Tom Ogle, the bright pink White Claw sponsored driver. It's Toyota running 1 and 2. And there is a Manufacturers Cup as well here for OBRL. It's currently led by Toyota with 960 points. Chevy is in second with 937, and Ford lags behind with 858 points. As always, thank you to Peter Kopko for putting those points together for us week in and week out, giving us another great talking point to go over. As it looks like the top 5, top 7, looks like they're going to be running single file here. You have to go a little bit further back, so I believe Everhart, who is leading to Joe Brown and Dwayne Macarthur as they go side by side. It's Macarthur on the high line, Brown on the low line. Macarthur trying to work that side draft to see if he can propel his way up the front. Macarthur's only lost 1 spot so far from where he started, but he's going to go side by side with Joe Brown, the number 21 machine. Now Macarthur does have the support of Crisco as well to try and get that outside line working. It's going to be interesting to see who's willing to form up early on and make some charges happen, or who's going to be happy following along single file for the time being. This is the battle for 12th on screen right now. 12th. Dwayne Macarthur is 12th, Robert Crisco 13th. Then you've got several seconds to catch up to Michael Everhart, who's at the tail end of the lead pack. About 11 cars still running in that lead pack, running single file for the most part before you come back here to Mcarthur and Crisco running 12th and 13th side by side. It's going to be interesting to see what the strategy is here today to see if it's going to allow these guys to catch up as they burn through some fuel. Now Mcarthur has moved to the inside line. Crisco still on the high side as they go side by side. Everyone trying to find a partner and push their way up to the front. There's a little 3-wide action going on there towards the back. Maybe a little bit early for that. Looks like that second pack kind of falling apart a little bit as now Crisco has taken the lead of this pack, I should say, over Dwayne Macarthur. He's going to leave the number 92, Dean Greer, out all on his lonesome in the National Guard sponsored racing machine. So it is about a 2.3 second disadvantage from this pack up to Michael Everhart, who is at the very tail end of this lead pack of about 11 cars running single file. Good to see old Mike Titanium Everhart up here and maybe getting in the mix of it early on. We've got Michelle joining in tonight, cheering on Dakota Pischke. Up front, it's Josh Robinson, Tom Ogle, the two teammates running 1 and 2 in their Toyotas. Brian Glass 3rd, Mike Schrader 4th, Travis Rogers 5th. Looks like the current fastest lap is owned by Pete Kopko, number 3 machine. Pete is currently 6th on track, and he has clicked off a 45.47, I believe is his fastest lap time. Almost identical to what Al Turner, the number 76 machine, was able to do as well. These guys are clicking off laps, not having any worries. Let's see if Robert Crisco and Dwayne Macarthur, this second pack of cars, is going to be able to catch up to Michael Everhart. It is about a 2-second disadvantage to catch up to the back of Everhart. Now, in theory, these guys should be able to make it happen since they have more drivers running single file. But as we see Joe Brown, number 21, briefly fall out of the draft here in his Toyota Camry, that's going to slow down the push of the two cars in front of them. As it looks like Everhart was able to gain another 2 or 3 tenths of a second that last lap by. Kelly Cool, the number 117 driver, currently our fastest rookie on track, has moved up to the 25th position. He is still battling with Jess Vaught, Scales, Gear, all mixed in. Now, Gear must have had an incident to find himself falling that far back. Not quite sure what happened to the number 92 drivers. He has dropped 8 spots so far. But everybody seeming to be happy, running single file, not having any big issues or worries. Everhart getting faster and faster up front. He clicked off a 45.3 his last time by. Able to put down some very quick laps, able to stay just out of the, or just within the draft of these lead 10 cars. Everhart currently 15th in points. He should be just inside the chase points. And he is still searching for his first top 5 here this season. His average finish is around the 17th spot. But if there's anything we've learned at previous plate races such as Talladega or other races at Daytona, is anything can happen. So it is most important to stay with that pack, keep your nose clean, and then see what happens. As it is kind of a norm here for the OBRL crew to have a green flag pit stops. Cautions are kind of the rare oddity here. So you may see things shape up on pit lane, but that means these guys have plenty of experience pitting under green, not having that many incidents. looks like it's going to be nice and clean so far. Everybody doing a good job just clicking them off, not having any big worries or issues. Up front, it's still Robinson and Ogle clicking them off, accompanied by Brian Glass, number 87 machine. Going to be interesting to see here who's going to be the first guys to decide to come into pit lane here at Daytona. As a lot of drivers do have team alliances that they build throughout the season, even if they're not quite on their official team. It allows them to, find an ally to work with. Because if you come out of the pit at Daytona all by your lonesome, you are in big, big trouble. As Crisco now still leading the second pack of cars. They find themselves about 3 seconds back from Michael Everhart in 11th place. Now Everhart is the last car at the tail end of that lead tango line. So it's going to be interesting to see if you see Crisco, Mcarthur, Brown, Hoskins, Pischke, Groves find some more time here and start reeling in that lead pack. Or if that lead pack's going to be more than happy to run single file, not have any issues, and try and extend the gap. It's going to be interesting to see here. Plate racing always brings out a lot of strategy, as we've got about 15 or so laps until our first fuel window will open up. Again, we expect it to open up between around lap 30 to 35. This is definitely a game of trust amongst your competitors. Now, Dwayne Macarthur, it's a little bit odd to see him back here in 13th, as he is your current points leader. Leading into the season finale, you should say, I guess, until the chase starts. He's had 25 starts, 3 wins, 4 poles, and he very consistently finds himself in the top 5 or the top 16, very rarely finishing outside the top 10. With an average finish this season of about 6th place. And he's very, very clean, averaging less than 0.005 incidents per lap, or about 0.8 incidents per race. So extremely clean. Out of 3,818 laps he's completed so far this season, he's only had 20 incidents throughout all those laps. So very, very impressive. Early on this season, February 14th, Valentine's Day, which is impressive that he was able to run that race at all without getting in big, big trouble. He started 22nd and finished 8th, so not quite the run he wanted, but it's interesting to see he kind of has that same luck at all the super speedways. When we ran Talladega April 25th, he started 4th and finished 14th. So it's interesting to see maybe Mcarthur not quite at home at the super speedways as he would like to be. So it'll be interesting to see if he charges up as the night progresses. We're watching the lead pack right now just charge around. Again, it's 11 drivers in this pack. It's Josh Robinson at the tippy end and Michael Titanium Everhart towards the back end. As we're watching Randy Ott click his laps off, making it look good in the number 69 machine.